Good morning, students. Now, for the students of class 10th, I am starting the chapter in civics, that is chapter number 2, federalism. First chapter I have completed in last April or May, and in that chapter you have read that people of a country, they are given share in the government. I told you then that different communities are living in the country. When the central power gives them accommodation, gives them share into the government, or in other words you can say the power of the government is shared by the different people of the country. This is called power sharing. In that chapter I have told you. But this chapter, that is federalism, it is dealing something else. What is the meaning of the word federalism? Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority and the various constituent units of the country. Very simple definition has been given here. In that chapter, people have been satisfied, but after making them satisfied, now the work of the government starts. How the work will be done? Whether central government will be performing whole responsibility, or the responsibilities will be divided among different types of small units. The true way has been searched out. Eminent people has given the ideas that if all the powers they are not used or performed by central government, it is better to divide them into the other small units which are the subordinating unit of the country. For example, if 5 works are to be completed in any country, if 2 works or 3 works should be completed by central government, other 3 works, remaining 3 works, if they are completed by the state government, then easily work will be done and there will be no burden over the central government. This system, when work is done or work is divided into different small units, horizontally or vertically, horizontally and vertically. Vertically, powers can be divided: uppermost, middlemost and lowermost, central government, state government and the local government. This whole system where the powers or the functions or the responsibilities of the government is divided into small units. This process of government, this process of governing, it is called federalism. Now the question arises, how we will recognize, how we will be identifying whether there is federalism in any country or not. It means there should be some features. By these features, we will be able to understand in this country federalism is there. How? I will read some features of federalism if a federalism is there in any country. The first feature is there are 2 or more levels of the government. In any country, if federalism is there, if this system is there, dividing the powers, then definitely there will be more than 2 levels of the government. State government will be there, and over state government, central government will be there. This is the first feature of federalism. Second feature has been given, different tiers of the government govern the same citizens. Citizens are same of whole country because country has been divided into states. Central government looks after the whole country, whether it is UP, whether it is MP, whether it is Odisha, whether it is Bengal, whatever state is there, the citizens are of India. When elections are held, the same citizens give vote to the parliament. When elections are held for assembly, state assembly, the same citizens give vote to the state assembly MLAs. It means for both type of government, citizens are same. This is the feature of federal country. Next feature has been given here. The jurisdiction of the respective levels or tiers of government are specified in the constitution. For every type of government, whether it is central government or it is state government, it has already been specified in the constitution that what types of works will be performed by which type of court. The judicial area has been specified by the constitution. For example, the large matters, the big matters, important matters of the country which cannot be solved by the state high courts, these matters will be solved by the Supreme Court of India. If small matters are there related to state, they will be solved by High Court of India, High Court of any state. In this way, every court has its own jurisdiction. There is no conflict between the courts. There is no problem. And next feature of federalism has been given in your book. The fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of the government. One thing is there. Whatever fundamental laws have been given in your constitution, these fundamental laws, these fundamental rights, they cannot be changed by any one of the government. Central government cannot change any law of the constitution without the consultation of the state body, state government. It means if any law is to be changed, definitely there is the requirement of the suggestion of state government also. For example, if you are going to form any new state, actually the people of that state, means the assembly of the state, should be agree for that. Then only Parliament of India can pass any resolution, any bill in favor of division of the state. Here you are seeing the concept or acceptance of both the government is required. This is called, in some matters which are fundamentally true, they are discussed with both types of government. Any single government cannot pass any law without having consultation with the state government. The next feature has been given in your book, that is, courts have the power to interpret the constitution and the powers of different levels of the government. In India, government has three organs: legislative, executive and judiciary. What will be the functions of every level of organ of the government? They have already been decided by the constitution. It means functions, they have been already specified which part of the government will perform which type of function. What is the responsibility of legislative organ? What is the responsibility of executive and judiciary? No one is going to interfere into the matters of others. The next is, sources of revenue for each level of government are already specified to ensure its financial autonomy. From which department, how much money will be coming, and this money will be kept by which government? For example, railway department is there. The money earned by railway department will be kept by the central government because it is the subject of center. Electricity, it is the matter of state government. Whatever money they are earning from the bill or electricity, it will be collected by the state government. Stamp duty, revenue, agricultural taxes, they are collected by the state government. There is no conflict between the center and the state who will keep the money. Just like it, central government has also its own sources of revenue. There is no conflict. So they are earning their departments, they are making them enable to produce more. So there is no conflict regarding the revenue distribution. Already Constitution has given the particular specification for each type of government. The next feature has been given. Federal system thus has dual objectives to safeguard and promote unity of the country. Here you are seeing, if in any country federalism is there, the central government has the responsibility to keep the country unite also. Central government, it is the own government, it is a separate body, but it has to see the whole citizens should be satisfied, should be united, and while at the same time accommodate regional diversity. Means whatever diversity prevails in the country, whatever diversity exists in the country, they are accommodated by the central government. It means central government plays the role of as a guardian of the country, and state government, they are supporting the center regarding many matters. So in this paragraph you have seen that if in any country federalism is there, then definitely these features will be there if they are really following federalism. Now you are thinking, are there varieties in federalism? Is there any type in federalism? Yes, federalism is of two types. That is coming together and holding together. I will discuss which type of federalism is coming together and which type of federalism is holding together. If small units of any country, they have been given equal power, still they are supporting the larger unit of the country. In a simple way, you can understand it. Suppose Australia is there. In Australia, if all the states of the country, they have been given equal powers, and still they are supporting the central government, and in this way they are making the country one. There is no conflict among the states because all the states are having equal powers to perform. Equal subjects have been given to make the laws, and central government is supported by these equal states. If this type of system is there in any country, this is called coming together. Coming together federalism can be seen in 2 or 3 countries. These are USA, Switzerland and Australia. These 3 countries are given in your book. USA, Switzerland and Australia, they are the important examples of coming together federalism. Second type of federalism has been given, that is holding together. Holding together federalism, just I have told you in coming together, if states in the country have been given equal power, just I told you, but in holding together, due to some problems, due to some circumstances, if the states of any country, they have not been given equal power, they have been given unequal power, still they are supporting the central government. For example, I am giving you one example. If in any family 4 children are there and father has not given equal money to the children, still the children are respecting their father. This is the important feeling for family. The children want to make the family united. This is the feeling here. In India, center government has not given equal power to every state. Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Tripura, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, these states, they are enjoying more power than any other state of India, because they are having their own diversity, cultural diversity is there, historical diversity is there, so they have been given the power to enjoy more than other states of India. But other states, they have not been given such type of power. Still, there is no conflict, there is no problem between the state. All states, they are one. All states are supporting the center, and all states are combined to form the country into one. This is called holding together federalism. I think it is clear. If states are having equal powers, still they are supporting center power, it is called coming together. USA, Australia and Switzerland are the example for coming together, and in holding together, three countries are there. They are given here: India, Spain and Belgium. Others are there, but three have been given here: India, Spain and Belgium. They are the example of holding together federalism. I think this is very simple for you. Next thing has been given here in your book, that is what makes India a federal country. How we can say in reality India is feeling federalism in the country. Some factors should be discussed here. What are the elements which are making our country federal? If you remember in class 6th or 7th or 8th, in those chapters which are from civics, it was given there that in constitution, works have been specified in the constitution. What are the responsibilities of the union government? What are the responsibilities of the state government? What are the subjects in which both the government can make the law? It is given in the constitution. So for the compliance of the work easily, subjects have been divided. Whatever work, whatever responsibilities are there in the country, they have been divided. Some subjects have been given to union government, central government. It means on these subjects, law can be made by central government only. Parliament can make on those subjects only. For example, banking is there, railway is there, ocean development is there, defense ministry is there, and so many others. Communication ministry is there. If any law is required, the law will be made by the central government. These subjects have been written in a list. The list where the subjects for the central government have been written, this list is called union list. Union government generally makes law from the union list. The next list is, that is state list. Means those subjects which are under the consideration of state government. It means laws can be made by the state government only. Such type of list where subjects have been written, they are called state list. For example, revenue of agriculture, stamp duty, laws on liquor and road construction, state road construction and others, home guard, agriculture, police, education, they are the subject related to state government. State governments make law over these subjects. So these subjects, this list has been referred here as the state list. But some subjects are there in the country over which both the government can make law. If such type of list is there, when both the government can make law, this list will be called concurrent list. Means if the matter of formation of any new state is there, this will be solved by the both government, federal government, union government or the state government. Both the governments will give their consent to form the state, new state. In this way, formation of state, distribution of the water between two states, it will be solved by the both, and it has been kept in the concurrent list. You have seen central government is not pressurizing the state government. All the governments are performing the duties on their particular lists. There is no conflict regarding their work. This problem has been solved by providing three types of list: union list, state list, and the concurrent list. Now we will discuss over a next topic: how is federalism practiced in India? This topic will be discussed in our book. At the time of independence, India was facing so many problems, and it was necessary that time to make the country one. Then only the feeling of federalism could be practiced. What efforts have been done? I would like to tell you, at that time, the states which are existing today, they were not in such a way. Bombay and Gujarat, they were combined, it was called Bombay. Karnataka and other parts of Kerala, they were also called Mysore. Bengal, Odisha, Bihar, it was called Bengal. Now you can discuss here the people who are living in Bengal, they will be speaking Bengali. The people living in Bihar, they are speaking Bihari language or Maithili language or Pali language or Prakrit language. Those people who are living in Odisha, they are speaking Odissi language, Odia language. So they are not similar to each other. In 1950, it was thought that at least units should be reorganized. States should be reorganized. For what purpose? For that purpose, the people of the same state should be felt easiness when they are living together. It was thought that people of same language, people speaking same language should be kept in a same area. For example, Maharashtra state has been formed. All the people generally they are speaking Marathi. In Andhra Pradesh, generally people are speaking Telugu. This state has been formed in such a way where the same language is being spoken by all people of the state. In Gujarat, all the people generally they are speaking Gujarati. In Punjab, people are speaking Punjabi. It means in India, states have been formed on the basis of their particular language. This is their identification, and they are not feeling any problem in this manner. They are speaking Odia, they are speaking Bihari, they are speaking Tamil language, they are speaking Marathi language, no problem. Still they are Indian. Still they are supporting central government. Still they are working under the state government. No problem is there. But they have been given a proper atmosphere of same language. They are feeling well among them. If four types of people are living at one place, Tamil, Odia, Bihari or Marathi, they are living only. They cannot speak easily. They cannot feel comfortable with them. So it was thought that language should be same of the same state. In this way, by the efforts of the then leaders of the country, states have been formed on the basis of the particular language. This is called linguistic states. State based on their particular language. Next problem was solved, that was the problem of language. Which language should be the national language of the country? Some people have given the idea that there should be one language of the country to make the country federal. But this subject was discussed. Earlier, some people have told that Hindi should be announced as the national language of the country. But what happened? The people who are living in Tamil Nadu, they are speaking Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, another language, Malayalam. They also told that 40% people are speaking Tamil or the southern language. How we can say that Hindi would be the national language? It is the irrespect of the other language of the country. If Hindi is given respect, then other language should be counted. This was the conflict. So it was decided that Hindi will be the official language of the country. There is difference between national language and the official language of the country. National language means only that language which has been considered national, it will be regarded in the constitution, in the written or everywhere in the country. No other language will be given respect. But when we call official language, it means all the official works of the government will also be done in Hindi. English was also there. So English is a subordinate language in all states. Solution has been done. What solution has been given? In every state, first of all, that state is free to use his regional language. For example, if Punjab is there, Punjab government can use Punjabi in the official works. Official documents can be written in Punjabi. Secondary language will be there, English, and the tertiary language will be Hindi. Three languages are compulsory. And it depends upon the state which language he is keeping first. For the whole country, 22 or 23 languages have been mentioned in the constitution. These languages have been given place in the constitution. Solution. What is the solution now? Which language is the national language of the country? No language is the national language of country, but all the languages have been given place as the regional languages. Official works of the government, especially central government, will also be done in Hindi as well as English. English will be the subordinate language. And if any problem is there, regional languages can be used by the state government. So generally three languages are going on in any state in the whole country. Prime language is either it is regional language or Hindi. The third language, it is English. In this way, language policy has been settled. Why it was done? People, they wanted to keep India united. People or the leaders of the country, they wanted the country to be federal. There should be no problem, there should be no conflict regarding the language. Still some people are demanding that Hindi should be the national language, Tamil should be national language, but problem is still there where we have left it. We are working now. Regional languages have been given respect, Hindi has been given respect, and English is also going with the other languages of the country. Next part has been given, by which you can see in India federalism is practicing here. How? If we discuss over center-state relation, we will find out that generally central government supports the state government. If the same party is ruling in state and in the center, definitely relations will be good between the two. If opposite party government is ruling in the center and in the state, definitely relations will be affected. Everybody wants to establish their own party in the state or in the center. Sometimes condition differs. In formation of central government, when after parliament elections or general elections, it is seemed that some parties which are ruling in the state, they are supporting the larger party in the center. In that condition, it will be called coalition government. Coalition government, the government which is formed with the help of more than one party. It can be done, it can happen that in center, the government which has been formed, it may be of different parties, and some parties which are supporting center government, they will be ruling in state also. So if this system is going on, definitely the relations will be good. If the will of the state parties is not concerned, is not given pace, then definitely there will be the possibility of conflict between center and state relations. Now, what should be done? Center government should always give respect to state government. It should not be dismissed. It should not be disturbed. Then only center and state relations will be good. These are called center and state relations. In your book, they have been given in detail. The last part has been given in your book, that is decentralization in our country. When we talk about the decentralization word, it is giving its meaning itself. Decenter means powers taking away from the center and it is distributed to the other units of the government. How? Some powers have been given to union government. Some powers have been given to state government. If still burden is there, if so many works are still as a burden, then one option is remaining there. Some powers of the central, some powers of the state should be taken away and they should be given to the other third unit of the country. Central government, state government and the local government. What is the purpose of dividing the power into the different levels of the government? Power is given only to solve the problem, to make the work easy so that the government can perform their duty in a well manner. This is the reason the power is divided into different levels of the government. In India also it has been done. What features are there of the decentralization of the government powers? It is constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to local government bodies. Local elections to the local bodies, for example, Gram Pradhan, rural town areas, municipalities, municipal corporations, the elections are conducted regularly so that the presentation or the representatives, they should be elected after a particular interval of time. And seats are reserved in the elected bodies and the executive heads of these institutions for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward classes. Reservation status has been given to all types of bodies in local government. Means how many seats will be reserved for scheduled caste, how many seats will be reserved for scheduled tribe, how many seats will be reserved for OBC classes. It means